AM560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here, revisiting the news we brought you last week about Senator Dick Durbin being honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award by the Chicago Archdiocese. And it's ironically entitled, quote-unquote, Keep Hope Alive benefit. Bishop Thomas Paprocki writing about this. It is darkly ironic that he's going to be honored at this Keep Hope Alive benefit. This is darkly ironic because the slaughter of the innocents in utero is nihilistic and always without hope, and the policies Durbin has supported have denied a lifetime to countless unborn children. Senator Durbin's appalling record on the foundational issue of unborn human life renders him unfit to receive the proposed award or any Catholic honor. The decision to grant Durbin this honor is gravely mistaken. If it takes place, it will be a source of enormous scandal among both Catholics and the public at large. People will be understandably confused as to whether the church is sincere in its opposition to abortion, as to whether the church really views abortion as a matter of life and death, and as to whether the church believes human dignity is really at stake. Cardinal Cupich, responding to the firestorm of criticism about this Lifetime Achievement Award that is to be conferred on Senator Durbin, saying this in a statement. Recently, some have criticized the decision of the Archdiocese of Chicago to recognize Senator Dick Durbin at our annual fundraiser for our immigration ministry, Keep Hope Alive. Senator Durbin informed me some years ago that he has taken up residence in Chicago, registered in a parish of the Archdiocese, and considers me to be his bishop. Accordingly, I have remained faithful to the May 2021 instructions of the then Congregation for the Doctrine of Faith, advising bishops to, quote, reach out and engage in dialogue with Catholic politicians within their jurisdictions as a means of understanding the nature of their positions and their comprehension of Catholic teaching, unquote. At the heart of the consistent ethic of life is the recognition that Catholic teaching on life and dignity cannot be reduced to a single issue, even an issue as important as abortion. The annual celebration of immigrants, Keep Hope Alive, will recognize all the critically important contributions Senator Durbin has taken to advance Catholic social teaching in the areas of immigration, the care for the poor, Laudato Si, and world peace. The recognition of his defense of immigrants at this moment when they are subjected to terror and harm is not something to be regretted, but a reflection that the Lord stands profoundly with both immigrants who are in danger and those who work to protect them. I mean, it's not just the life issue, by the way. It's also, for example, his support for trans, for that radical left gender ideology. That statement, I don't know if it hits you the same way it hits me. So Dick Durbin's support for open borders is consistent with Catholic teaching on the defense of immigrants, on care for the poor. But those who support the rule of law, border security, removing people in this country illegally, particularly those who've, committed crimes in addition to the crime of coming here illegally, that is not consistent with Catholic teaching. That's runs afoul of the Catechism, does it? Yeah, I can see what Bishop Paprocki is saying when it creates a bit of confusion. I'm confused. For help with some clarity on this, Robert Royal, the editor-in-chief of the Catholic Thing, joins us, and he will be joining everybody tomorrow night at the Aid for Women annual benefit dinner at the Union League Club, where Robert Royal is the featured speaker. helpaidforwomen.org, helpaidforwomen.org if you would like to attend this annual benefit dinner. Starts at 6:30. Again, it's at the Union League Club in downtown Chicago tomorrow night, Thursday, September 25th. Robert Royal, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So how do you come down on this theological and political disagreement between, say, the position represented by Bishop Rapaki versus the position represented by Cardinal Cupich?
Well, look, everything that you just described about the justification for giving Dick Durbin this award is a rationalization. There's no other way to talk about it, because the Archdiocese of Chicago itself has a policy dating back to 2004 in which it says that people like him, people who have not just talked about they're personally opposed to abortion but wanted to leave the decision up to the woman and their doctors, that they should not be honored in the way that they're going to be honored. So to begin with, the Archdiocese is in contradiction with itself. But look, this is an absurdity. It's a couple of people have been on the joke, and I've been repeating this myself. If Dick Durbin had said, look, I'm opposed to ICE agents shooting people at the border, but, it's a decision that individual consciences have to make, that I'm opposed to abortion. Well, no archdiocese would ever give a person like that an award. If you take seriously, as Catholics should and do, that abortion is killing an innocent human life, and our late Pope Francis, I think, put it quite trenchantly. He said that abortion is like hiring a hitman to deal with a problem. So what this is quite clearly a political calculation. It's saying that, of course we are opposed to abortion, but we've got all these other issues that we're interested in as well. I mean, there are certain things that a person allows to happen, and even let's face it, in his case, he was positively favoring all those other issues too that you're talking about, trans, LGBT, and whatnot.
Marriage redefinition.
When a person is, when a person is positively doing that, to ignore it and say, well, but he's kind of good on poverty. Well, in what way? Or he's kind of good on immigration. And I think you're right to point out it's not that he's good on immigration. He's good on illegal immigration, because we're all in favor of immigration in a legal sense. We're all, one way or another, either descended from or ourselves are immigrants, because that's what America is. My wife is an immigrant, but she's a legal immigrant. So what he's in favor of is people who come here by breaking the law, and somehow that is something to be celebrated. Look, there's no way that this is a consistent, rational, truthful expression of who he is, what he's done, and why he should be honored.
I don't have much hope that there'll be a real sustained reaction to this offense, as Bishop Paprocki describes it, in Chicagoland. But do you get the sense in the church writ large that the politicization like this being an example, is it accomplishes two things. One, it recoils people from the church in the sense of Cardinal Cupich's vision for the church. And the other is that it sends people who are interested in the faith to real parishes that are interested in a unyielding commitment to the catechism.
Yeah, I think that's certainly the case. And God bless Bishop Paprocki, because as we know, to say what he said gets you no roses sent to you. You even get pushback from some Catholics. But it's clear that where the future of the Catholic Church is going to be, if there is going to be a future of it, is going to be with people who really believe in the faith and not people who compromise in terms of politics. Look, I was very close with Cardinal George, the previous Cardinal Archbishop of Chicago. I worked on several projects with him years ago when he was still alive. And I used to push him about the Durbin case, because He knew, of course, that it was a problem, but he preferred to deal with it privately. He would bring him in and say, "Look, you're endangering your immortal soul." I would say to him, "Look, it's a public scandal. You've got to do something about it publicly." But he took this different approach, and he had a right to do it that way. But he would never have honored somebody who actually is mocking by his actions, by his words, by his political activity, what the Catholic Church is. And that vision of Catholicism, I think, is it's going to disappear because it has no substance to it. It becomes one with the Democratic Party. And once it does that, even the Democratic Party is having problems with the positions that it's adopted over the years recently, the more radical positions that it's adopted. So, if you're going to stay faithful to the catechism, to the faith, to the entire tradition, the moral tradition of the Catholic Church, and even going back into Judaism about things like abortion and things like homosexuality, if you're going to remain faithful to that, you're going to be part of a tradition that's lasted 2,000 years. If you're not going to be part of a political party that is itself changing and will be gone before any of us are dead.
What's your expectation for Pope Leo's reign?
Well, look, I'm cautiously optimistic. He's a Chicagoan, as you know. He's a much more carefully spoken person. I think we're going to see him continue to he's going to encourage people to support immigration. This is what I think he's inherited from the previous Pope, Pope Francis. But I wonder if he's, as an American, is going to understand the complexity of this situation, that it's not simply the word that's often being used is to respect the dignity of people who are immigrants. No one denies that every human being has dignity. That's fundamental to people who believe in God. But there's a difference between that and where the politics are going to go. And he's already indicated, for example, that he doesn't see there's going to be any change on LGBT in the church. He recognizes that it's the role of the Pope to be a preacher and not to be a politician trying to solve all the world's problems. He's just said this in a recent interview. So I'm cautiously hopeful that he's going to bring a certain realism and a certain discipline to the papacy. But he's got a tough job, and he's admitted that he's on a steep learning curve because now he's a guy who's operating at the highest international level with world leaders.
Robert Royal is the editor-in-chief of The Catholic Thing. Again, he is in town tomorrow for Aid for Women's annual benefit dinner. That will be at the Union League Club at 6:30. For tickets, helpaidforwomen.org, helpaidforwomen.org. Robert Royal, thanks so much for joining us, and enjoy your time in Chicago.
Great. My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us on the turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Fellow patriots, our neighbors in Manteno are under attack. Governor Pritzker handed over $536 million of your tax dollars to Goshen, a company affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party and under congressional investigation. Now Goshen wants to use toxic chemicals near family homes. But the concerned citizens of Manteno are fighting back in court, and they need our help. Join us Tuesday, October 28th at Olympia Fields Country Club for an evening with Gordon Chang, a leading expert on China's threat to America. Cocktails at 6, dinner at 7.